Thousands of years ago, a woman woke up. No pad, no tampon, no painkiller, nothing. And she still had a full day ahead of her. Water to fetch, food to gather, children to feed, work that did not stop because her body was doing something difficult. So she managed, the same way every woman around her managed, the same way her mother showed her, and her grandmother showed her mother, with exactly what the world around her offered. And what she used, how she used it, and how she kept going, that is what almost nobody actually explains. Start with the most urgent problem, something absorbent, something that worked against skin, something available right now. She did not have to think long. Moss was everywhere, growing thick and soft along every riverbank, every stream edge, every damp forest floor near any settlement ancient humans ever built. She gathered it with her hands, pressed it into a soft, dense bundle, shaped it against her body, and held it in place with a strip of soft hide tied at the waist. That was it. No stitching, no complicated preparation, just moss, shaped, secured, and replaced when needed. But here's what made moss different from every other option available to her. Sphagnum moss absorbs liquid at a rate that most natural materials simply cannot match, 10 times its own weight, consistently, reliably, every time. It also has natural antibacterial properties that ancient women did not understand scientifically, but observed practically. Less irritation, less infection, less problem. They did not choose moss because it was the only option. They chose it because it was the best option. And that knowledge, that specific practical observation, passed from mother to daughter for thousands of years, without a single written word required.
But moss was not available everywhere, and ancient women were practical above everything else. In regions where cotton grew naturally, women gathered the raw fibers directly from the plant, soft, white, already familiar from daily use in clothing. They folded it, layered it, shaped it into something flat and dense enough to be useful, held in place the same way. Strip of hide, strip of woven plant fiber, whatever was available to tie and secure. In colder regions, wool was the material of choice. Raw wool straight from the animal has natural lanolin in it, a waxy substance that creates a mild barrier against moisture on the outer surface, while the inner fibers absorb. Ancient women may not have understood the chemistry, but they understood that wool worked differently from other materials, and they used that difference deliberately. Folded, layered, secured, washed when needed, used again. These were not single-use solutions. They were tools, maintained and reused the same way every other tool in an ancient woman's daily life was maintained and reused. Now here is the part that is almost never talked about. The physical material was only half the solution, because the pain did not stop just because she had something absorbent, and ancient women did not accept pain as something to simply endure. They had a complete system for managing it. Ginger was one of the most consistently used plants across ancient cultures for this specific purpose. Egypt, China, India, Greece, all of them. No contact with each other, no shared knowledge, all arriving at the same plant independently. She would take dried ginger root, crush it between 2 stones, boil it in water over the fire until the liquid darkened, drink it warm. Not once, consistently. Every day the pain was heaviest. It worked because ginger reduces the specific biological compounds that cause menstrual cramping. Ancient women did not know that mechanism, but they knew the result, and the result was consistent enough to keep that knowledge moving forward for thousands of years. Heat was the other constant. She took a stone, flat, dense enough to hold heat, placed it near the fire until it was warm through, wrapped it in a layer of soft hide so it would not burn, pressed it against her lower abdomen, held it there. The same instinct, the same practical response to the same pain, observed, refined, passed forward. In some ancient communities, specific plant preparations were used as teas or poultices: chamomile for cramping, raspberry leaf for managing the heaviest flow days, yarrow as an astringent. Each of these plants has compounds that modern research has confirmed are genuinely effective for exactly the purposes ancient women used them for. They were not guessing. They were doing what worked, based on generations of careful observation. But here is where ancient women had something that no modern product has ever been able to replace: each other. This was never a problem solved alone. Think about what daily life actually looked like in an ancient settlement. Women worked together every single day, gathering food, preparing meals, processing hides, fetching water, which meant one woman always knew when another was struggling, and struggling was not something ancient communities ignored. When a woman entered her most difficult days, the older women around her noticed immediately, not because she said anything, because they had been watching and learning bodies their entire lives. The older woman would take fresh moss, already gathered and shaped, hand it directly, show the younger woman exactly how much to use, how to fold it dense enough to last through hours of physical work, how to tie the binding tight enough to hold, but not so tight it restricted movement. She would already have ginger preparation ready, crushed, boiled, cooled to drinking temperature, handed over without being asked. She would redistribute the heaviest physical tasks away from the woman in her most painful days: water carrying, heavy grinding, long-distance foraging, quietly, without announcement, just shifted to someone whose body was not fighting the same battle that day. And while they worked together in those lighter tasks, the knowledge transfer happened naturally. Which plants to start gathering 3 days before, how to read your own body's signals early enough to prepare, which moss from which part of the riverbank worked best, how long to boil the ginger before it was strong enough to actually help. Every practical detail passed directly, hands-on, in real time, not written anywhere, not stored anywhere, living entirely in the daily interactions between women who had been through this and women who were going through it now. That was the system. Not a designated space, not a formal ritual, just women watching each other, helping each other, passing everything that worked directly from one pair of hands to the next, for thousands of years, without interruption, without a single written word required.
And when you understand that system, the whole picture changes. Because ancient women were not managing this alone with improvised solutions and hope. They were managing it with a complete practical system, specific materials chosen deliberately for specific properties, prepared in specific ways that maximized effectiveness, secured with methods refined over generations of daily use, pain management built from deep plant knowledge accumulated across hundreds of years of careful observation, community systems that distributed the physical burden and ensured every young woman entered this reality already knowing exactly what to do. Nothing improvised, nothing desperate, nothing primitive. A complete system, built by women, for women, refined over more generations than any modern institution has existed. So come back to where this started. A woman waking up thousands of years ago. No pad, no tampon, no painkiller. She knew exactly what to do. She gathered the moss she had already prepared and kept ready. She tied it in place the way her mother showed her. She drank the ginger preparation she had made the day before because she knew what was coming. She pressed a warm stone wrapped in hide against her abdomen while she ate. Then she got up, and she went through her day. Not because she had no other option, because she had a system that worked, built by every woman who came before her, kept alive by every woman who came after. That system had no packaging, no brand name, no pharmacy shelf, but it worked. For longer than anything that replaced it has existed. And the women who built it, refined it, carried it forward through thousands of years of daily use, they were not surviving without solutions. They were the ones who created them.